My friend, hear me with your heart this morning. The tears you cried were not wasted. The nights you wept in silence were not ignored. The moments you felt broken beyond repair were not overlooked. Heaven took record of every tear, every ache, every silent prayer, every breath you struggled through. And the word rising in my spirit for you today is this. God said, I'm about to turn your tears into triumph. Not into survival, not into endurance, not into barely making it, but triumph, victory, strength, elevation, breakthrough, expansion, and divine reversal. Those tears were not the end of your story. They were the beginning of a transformation too powerful to imagine. Some of you woke up carrying the weight of things that cut you deeply. You cried over relationships that shattered your heart. You cried over seasons you didn't understand. You cried over closed doors you wanted to walk through. You cried over opportunities that slipped out of your hands. You cried over people who left without explanation. You cried over battles you didn't choose, storms you didn't anticipate, losses you weren't prepared for. And somewhere in the pain, you began to wonder if the tears would ever end. But God is saying, your tears were seeds, and your triumph is the harvest. What broke you is about to bless you. What hurt you is about to launch you. What wounded you is about to strengthen you. What tried to destroy you is about to develop you. Nothing you cried over will return empty. Tears water the soil of destiny. Tears cleanse the eyes to see clearly. Tears soften the heart for transformation. Tears prepare the soul for elevation. God said, I'm about to turn your tears into triumph. Some of you cried because life betrayed your expectations. You believed things would unfold differently. You believed certain people would stay longer. You believed the timing would be quicker. You believed the journey would be smoother. But life unfolded in ways that felt unfair, unpredictable, even cruel. And your tears became prayers. Prayers for strength, prayers for answers, prayers for direction. And God heard every one of them. The tears you cried in confusion prepared you for clarity. The tears you cried in heartbreak prepared you for healing. The tears you cried in loss prepared you for restoration. The tears you cried in disappointment prepared you for divine appointments. Your tears were not a sign of weakness. They were the birthplace of your next level. Some of you cried because you carried responsibilities bigger than your capacity. You carried family burdens, financial weight, emotional stress, professional pressure. You tried to be strong for everyone while falling apart privately. You held things together with trembling hands, held your breath through seasons that felt suffocating, held your faith while everything around you shook. And when you finally collapsed in tears, you thought you failed. But that moment was not failure, it was surrender. It was God saying, let me carry what you never should have carried alone. Those tears marked the moment you released what was killing your peace. Now God is turning those tears into triumph. Triumph through renewed strength. Triumph through divine support. Triumph through unexpected provision. Some of you cried because your heart was broken by people you trusted. You gave love freely. You offered loyalty generously. You supported people unconditionally. You believed in relationships wholeheartedly. but the very people you were faithful to wounded you deeply. They misused your kindness. They mishandled your heart. They misunderstood your intentions. And the betrayal cut so deeply that tears felt like the only language your soul could speak. But hear me, betrayal is often the doorway to destiny. The pain that people cause is about to push you into the purpose God planned. The heartbreak you endured is creating space for relationships aligned with your future. God is turning the same tears people cause into triumph they cannot stop. Some of you cried because you fought battles alone, battles of the mind, battles of insecurity, battles of fear, battles of doubt, battles no one knew you were dealing with. You cried silently while still showing up for others. You poured strength into people while feeling empty inside. And yet, in your private tears, God was reshaping you. He was refining you in ways you didn't realize. He was strengthening your inner man. He was teaching you resilience. He was awakening your spiritual authority. He was preparing you for triumph that will not be shaken by future storms. God said, I'm about to turn your tears into triumph. Some of you cried because you lost something valuable, someone you loved, a dream you held, a job you depended on, a vision you nurtured, a version of yourself you once recognized. Loss shook your foundation. It rewired your emotions. It left you feeling empty, unsure, and vulnerable. But loss is never the end with God. Loss creates space. Loss creates hunger. Loss breaks the shell so the seed can grow. Loss empties the hands so God can fill them again. Your tears from loss will become triumph through restoration. God restores differently. He restores abundantly. He restores intentionally. What you lost is returning better, healthier, stronger, and aligned with purpose. Some of you cried because you felt forgotten by people, forgotten by opportunity, forgotten by life, maybe even forgotten by God. But God never forgets his children. He was working while you were weeping. He was planning while you were hurting. He was aligning pieces while you were unraveling. The silence you interpreted as abandonment was actually preparation. The quiet seasons were construction seasons. And now God is saying, what you thought was my absence was my blueprint. Your tears of feeling forgotten are becoming triumph in being chosen. Some of you cried from exhaustion, emotional exhaustion, spiritual exhaustion, financial exhaustion, physical exhaustion. You reached the limit of your strength. You reached the end of your patience. You reached the point where you simply didn't know what to do. And the exhaustion broke you open. But exhaustion is often the final step before breakthrough. When your strength ran out, God's strength took over. When your resources ran out, God's provision stepped in. When your answers ran out, God's wisdom became your clarity. Your tears of exhaustion are about to become triumph through renewed strength. Some of you cried because of fear of the future, fear of failure, fear of starting over, fear of being alone, fear of uncertainty. Fear tried to paralyze you. Fear tried to silence you. Fear tried to shrink your purpose. But every tear of fear watered the seeds of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is faith rising above it. God is turning your fearful tears into fearless triumph. A new boldness is coming. A new courage is coming. A new confidence is coming. Some of you cried because you felt unworthy. You battled self-doubt, shame, guilt, regret. You questioned your value. You questioned your identity. You questioned your calling. But those tears were healing you. They broke the walls around your heart. They softened the places hardened by disappointment. God will use those same tears to usher you into triumph. Triumph through self-worth. Triumph through restored identity. Triumph through understanding your value in His eyes. God said, I'm about to turn your tears into triumph. And when God says about to, that means the shift is imminent, not in the distant future now. Not when everything looks perfect now. Not when conditions align now. God moves in ways that contradict circumstances because triumph is spiritual before it becomes visible. Let me tell you what triumph looks like. Triumph looks like joy returning where sorrow lived. Triumph looks like strength returning where weakness drained you. Triumph looks like clarity returning where confusion clouded you. Triumph looks like purpose returning where doubt paralyzed you. Triumph looks like peace returning where anxiety overwhelmed you. Triumph looks like opportunities returning where doors closed. Triumph looks like love returning where heartbreak shattered you. Triumph looks like confidence returning where insecurity robbed you. Triumph is not about shouting victory, it is about living in victory. Some of you are entering a season where you will forget the weight of past tears because triumph will be so overwhelming. God does not turn tears into triumph moderately, He does it abundantly. The same places that made you cry will become places of testimony. The same areas you felt weak will reveal your strength. The same situations that broke you will become proof of God's restoration. He is turning your tears into triumph, not by chance, not by coincidence, not by effort, not by people, by divine orchestration. Some of you cried in seasons where you felt buried. Everything around you felt dark, tight, lonely, painful, but you were not buried, you were planted. Tears watered the soil. Pressure grew the roots. Darkness formed the foundation. And now, your triumph is the harvest. Where there was sorrow, there will be joy. Where there was darkness, there will be clarity. Where there was confusion, there will be direction. Where there was fear, there will be boldness. Where there was heartbreak, there will be healing. Where there was waiting, there will be acceleration. Where there was loss, there will be restoration. Where there was defeat, there will be victory. God said, I'm about to turn your tears into triumph. Some of you will experience triumph in relationships. God will send people who honor you, value you, support you, understand you, and align with your destiny. People who bring peace, not pain. People who heal, not harm. People who build, not break. Some of you will experience triumph in finances. Stability where there was lack. Increase where there was struggle. Overflow where there was scarcity. Ideas, opportunities, resources, connections. Everything you lacked is being replaced with everything you need. Some of you will experience triumph in purpose. Clarity where there was confusion. Focus where there was distraction. Direction where there was wandering. Purpose will rise in you like a fire. Some of you will experience triumph in healing, physical healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing. What hurt you will no longer own you. What wounded you will no longer weaken you. You will rise whole. Some of you will experience triumph in identity. You will finally see yourself the way God sees you, chosen, strong, capable, anointed, valuable, gifted. Some of you will experience triumph in peace, deep peace, steady peace, unshakable peace, peace that remains even in storms. Some of you will experience triumph in transformation. You will not just recover from pain, you will become someone wiser, stronger, deeper, more aligned, more disciplined, more grounded. God said, I'm about to turn your tears into triumph. And when he turns tears into triumph, the transformation is undeniable. People who once pitied you will marvel at your strength. People who once judged you will respect your resilience. People who once left you will witness your elevation. People who once doubted you will see God's hand on your life. You will stand in triumph not because you avoided pain, but because you survived it and God used it. Triumph is not avoiding tears, it is rising after them. And you are rising with new strength. You are rising with new identity. You are rising with new clarity. You are rising with new courage. You are rising with new wisdom. You are rising with new purpose. You are rising with new endurance. You are rising into triumph because God said, I'm about to turn your tears into triumph. And nothing can stop what he has ordained, sealed, and released over your life.